What if the words you write could unlock the person that you were always supposed to be? I always felt so lost, like my voice had no place in this world, until I discovered poetry and everything changed. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you just might find your voice too. Hello my friends, Gary Goers and fellow poets, welcome back to the channel. My name is Adam Gary and poetry is not just art. For me, it's been my guide, it's been a mirror, it's been my way of understanding myself, and it's been my life's work, my life's mission. Today I want to take you on a journey of how poetry helped me embrace who I truly am, and hopefully show you and teach you how it can do the same for you, potentially. As some of you may know, my original sort of goal in life, or the original dream, was to be an actor, be in performance, and that's what I studied, that's what I went to uni for, that's what I, worked so hard towards for, well, since I was 12 years old, right up to about 21, 22, I guess. And I thought that's what I wanted for the longest time. I thought that's who I was, but actually it wasn't. You know, life is so complicated. Life is such a journey. Life can be so difficult, and it is only worse, I guess. It's only made worse if you haven't found yourself yet. And naturally, when you're I mean, heck, I still haven't really truly discovered who I am totally. I just know that poetry is is in me. I am a poet. At least I know that much. And as I say, that's an ongoing thing for us as humans. But life is only made so much worse if you haven't actually found your calling. You haven't actually found your passion. And that's what poetry is for me, I guess. But through poetry and writing my emotions and writing out my experiences, it has helped me understand the world that I live in, the world that I'm surrounded by. It's helped me understand relationships, and it's helped me understand who I am as a person. And I'll never forget the time I discovered poetry for the very first time. I was in college. I was around 18 years old, and I wrote my first poem for my first ever girlfriend. I don't know what possessed me to do it, but something did. I guess I thought it was romantic. And when you're in performing arts, you're forever surrounded by Shakespeare and all this, great language. Not necessarily poetry even, just you study a lot of great playwrights and good use of literature, I guess. So naturally I turned to poetry, and it was the most amazing thing. And I had this sensation that I never had with acting before. Like everything just clicked, the world just opened up. I was seeing things in neon almost. I always liken it to the Harry Potter scene where the wand chooses the wizard and the wind machine gets turned on and it all goes through his hair, and it's all that's genuinely how it felt. And so with that in mind, it was genuinely a really physical sensation, and something happened, and it felt right. I knew immediately that I had found my calling in life, and that's where I wanted to put all my efforts. That's where I wanted to turn my attention to, verse and poetry. So I went from very literally playing a role, or playing roles, to having truly found myself. And rather than pretending to be someone else, I was able to sit down and write what was going on inside of me. I was unashamedly and unabashedly, is that even a word? Unashamedly myself. And as I say, that's how I've been able to find my place in the world, find my opinions, and find my understanding of things, relationships, emotions, particularly myself, as I said, the world that's going on around me, and that's what poetry has done for me. So how can you use poetry to help find yourself and continue on your journey of self-discovery? Well, here are my 3 tips. The first one is write without judgment. When I first started writing poetry, I was just writing. I wasn't thinking about technique. I didn't know about technique, quite frankly. I was just writing poetry how I imagined poetry to be written. I didn't know any of the stuff that I know now, other than, you know, that poems tend to rhyme, but they don't have to. So the key to this is just writing without judgment. Just write whatever you feel like writing. Just write whatever comes to mind. Don't think about what are other people gonna think about this. I mean, you don't even need to share this with anybody else. Just write a poem about what is most affecting you right now and the strongest emotions that come to mind, and take those emotions and put them straight on the page. Tip 2, read poetry that resonates with you. If you're here because you're trying to find your place in the world and understand yourself, but you're not necessarily looking to be a poet, then you probably haven't watched any of my other videos. But it is really important to read poetry as much as it is to write, whether you want to be a career poet or just improve your poetry skills. But even if you're looking to find yourself and use poetry as a means to do that, reading poetry is just as important as writing it. So read poems that really connect to you. There are plenty of poetry collections out there. One of my favourites are poems that make grown men cry and poems that make grown women cry. You can probably imagine that they're very sensitive topics, poems on very sensitive topics, but if you're looking to find expression and find understanding, that's a great place to start. So read lots of meaningful poetry that resonate with you. Tip 3, use your poetry as a mirror. Don't be shy. It can be confronting, and you know, that's quite something to go through as someone who has done it. But use your poetry as a mirror to you. Once you've gotten used to writing poetry, if this is your first time, really start to sit down and be honest with yourself, and start writing about emotions that you're feeling, situations you've found yourself in, and maybe even imagine yourself as somebody else in a situation and see what comes from that, because ultimately that's probably your subconscious writing about you, even though you've told yourself, oh, this poem is about Peter, or oh, this poem is about Annie. Actually, this poem's about Adam, or whatever your name may be. Not only that, but we can also look at the positives. If you have a dream or a fantasy, write poems about that. Imagine yourself in that. I'm personally a believer of manifestation, so write a poem about your deepest desires, your fantasies, whatever you want to see happen. Write poems about it. Manifest that. And bonus tip number 4, share your poetry if you're ready. You can, of course, write a poem on a little notepad and slip it into a journal and keep it private, or you can go full public with it and share it in a comment section below this video, or come and join us at the Poetry Cove, where we have a forum for poets to share their poems. But only do that if you're ready. It's a big first step. A poem of mine that really helped me work through some stuff is a poem called The Ungiven Tree. It's in my collection, The Early Hours, or you can go to my channel and search. There should be a search feature, and just put The Ungiven Tree. That's a very personal poem that helped me work through some of my own issues and place in life, I guess. So feel free to go and check that out too. Ultimately, poetry is what you make it, but it can be a very transformative thing. The biggest advice I can give to people is to just allow yourself, just open yourself up to the craft of poetry. A lot of people are intimidated by the art form because of previous experiences, so the biggest step is to just open yourself up to the notion of finding your place in this world and understanding yourself through the medium of poetry. But I guess if you're already watching this video, I don't need to tell you that. My name's Adam Gary. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you do feel brave enough to write a poem that helps you work through some stuff or helps you understand things better, and you want to, leave it down in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's completely free, it takes just a few seconds, but it does genuinely really help me. And if you want more poetry content here on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications too. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ta. I've never said ta-ta before in my life.